Okay guys, so right now I'll be going over a quick video on reskinning the Candy Roll or the physics puzzle starter game. And the first thing you want to do is this game, if you want to create more levels, then the game comes with 60 levels. So if you think that's enough for what you need, then you can leave it at 60 and then maybe create new levels later if you want to just hurry up and get the game published. Or if you're not in a rush, you can actually create more levels and create a third world. I actually didn't create a third world. I actually left it blank. But you can always create that if you want. So the levels in the game were created using a editor called Rube, and Rube is basically a box 2D editor that uses physics to stimulate the real life game. And it was created by iForce 2D, who is the person who created Box 2D, which is very popular in almost every physics game on the market. So yes, this product actually is not free. It's well worth every penny. It has a lot of documentation. It has tutorial videos on YouTube of how to do certain things. Um, as you see here, it has some really cool features. And so yeah, and I think the price is I think I paid about 30 bucks. So you can also do a trial, but the trial version will not work if you want to create levels because it will not allow you to export all of the proper files that are needed in the and engine for the and engine game. So I think the price, let's check it out by um yeah, so the price is it looks like it's yeah, it looks like it's around US dollars. It's $30 in US dollars. So yeah, it's about 30 bucks in USD dollars. And you can also use PayPal to pay for it, which is very convenient. So yes, so now let's jump into once you download that, if you want to create more levels, I'll be making a quick little overview of making levels with the Rube editor. So once you bought it, you should download it and install it, and you should get a Rube editor show up in your install applications. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up my Rube editor. And if you want to just skip right into the reskinning part, or where I kind of give you a brief overview of reskinning the game, then you can skip this part. You don't have to watch this part. But if you want to create levels, then stay tuned for this part. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and what we can do is we can go ahead and go to the project that came with the source code. If you've already imported your Candy Roll or the Candy Roll Saga project into the workspace of Eclipse, then you can simply go to the assets folder. Well, actually, not the assets folder. You'll go to the libs folder here, libs. Nope, not libs. You will go to the, I think it's the res folder, which is resources, and you will go to the raw, and you'll see all these level files here. And if you don't have it imported already, then you can just go directly to the source code on your computer and go to that res directory right there, resources directory, and go to raw. And we want to just get the first level. So let's go ahead and drag this to our Rube editor here and drop it. And as you see there, voila, you see you see some things that open up, and you see like the first level one is loaded. So as you see these green bounds here, these are actually the scene bounds. And what we do is we can actually remove this top one. We don't really need that. We can delete that. But this is the left wall, this is the right wall, and this is the ground that everything stands on. And if you zoom in more, you'll see like this little file, invalid file right here. This is because the files that I used to create this level are not on your computer. So what you need to do is you need to just simply remove those. So to do that, you just go to the top here and you go to the edit images and you just simply delete it. Just hit delete and just hit delete and hit delete and hit delete and delete. So what it is here, these are actually the beams here. And the way Rube works is you have modes. So you have the edit body mode, you have the edit fixtures mode, which allows you to set like to edit the friction, the restitution, which is how much a object bounces. Then you have the density, and you have all type of stuff like that. And you also have a edit edit vertices mode. So if you click that mode, you see here you have like little dots at the end of the polygons. So you can actually take this and you can create new objects. Like we can do a triangle, which is pretty cool, and you can do like a whatever shapes you want to do. You can make really cool little shapes. It's pretty interesting. And yeah, but for this tutorial, I'm just going to be showing you guys just how to briefly use this. So that's that mode, and then you also have a edit joint mode, which you won't be using too much. The only mode you'll need is pretty much those ones I showed you, and it also has a edit image mode. So edit images here, so you can click there, and this will allow you to edit images. So if you so this is how you create bodies. As you see here, these are the beams for our world right here. We can, if you want to move it around, you just click on the body, just click there, and hit T, and you can actually move it. And T means transpose, so you can basically just move it around the scene. And if you want, you can actually change up level 1. You can just move that here, and you can move these beams over, and make sure they're kind of close to the ground, because if they're not, they may fall over. So make sure they're about right there, and you can move that like right here. And this little guy here is actually our character body. So what you can do is you can actually move him as well. And when you create the character body, you actually don't need to provide a image file for it. You can actually just leave it as it is right here, because our code is set up so it automatically loads the character. And here is the candy ball. So this is the little ball that rolls. And if we match play, this little red button here, you can stimulate the world and you can actually see it moving. And we can like move some of the odd bodies. We can move some of these, and as you see there, everything kind of interacts. So it's pretty cool. We can drag that and sling it, so you can kind of move everything, which is pretty cool. So as far as adding textures, the way that works is you need to do, for example, say if you want to add a texture to this beam here, what you want to do is you want to hit space and go to add, and then you want to go to add image, and it's going to open up the file explorer, which is here, and go to your folder wherever your graphics are that you're going to be using to reskin it. These are all the graphics I use for my version of the game, so this is where I am. And what you want to do is you want to simply go to your folder where you have your textures that you want to use. I think mine are in Candyland beams. Yeah, here. So I want to use the blue. So I'm just going to use this cool little this blue beam solid here. I'm going to use that and then open. And as you see there, it added the image. So to move the image where that body is, we need to go to our image mode here and click it and hit Control T, and that will allow us to move it here. And now what we can do is we can actually shrink this so it can be the same size as our body. So to do that, you can also scale it. You can do S. If you press S, it'll scale it like this. And as you see there, to move it. But the problem is it actually scales it wrong. We don't want it to be that thin. So to kind of scale it on our own terms, we can actually change the height and aspect scale. And we may have to play around with these because I'm not really sure how they work. I kind of always played around with them. So let's change the height to like 0.6, and let's change the aspect to like 0.5. Yeah. So if we want to make it longer, we need to change the aspect to 1. I think that should work. And let's change the height to 1.5. That's actually too big. Let's change it to 1.2. Almost there. So let's just leave it at 1. I think that 1 should work. And let's change that to 0.5. And let's move it. Control T. Here. Like that. And we can actually just move the body to match that. We can set the body to match the shape or the image. So the first thing we want to do is first we need to set that image to that particular body. We need to link it to that body. So to do that, you want to go to body here, click the image, go to body, and it says none. So we click it, and then now we have an option to select any bodies to set to that image. So we want to set this body that it's on top of. So go ahead and click that body, and as you see there, it's set to beam, which is that body there. Now, if we run the game here, you'll see that image follows the body, so it moves wherever the body moves, which is pretty cool. All right, and yeah, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and edit the vertices of this this body here to match the image. So let's start with this one. Let's move it up some, and we can actually zoom in more. You can actually just use the scroll on your mouse and zoom in some, and we just move that, set it to be right there, right there, and let's go to this side and let's do the same here, and voila. All right, there we go. So let's go ahead and run it and let's see what happens. So there we go. So you see there that body, that image fits perfectly inside the body now, and we just create our first object. And the cool thing about Rube is we can actually copy bodies too. So instead of recreating the same body, we can do Control C, Control V, Control C, and Control V. And as you see there, we have a brand new body of that same type. All right. So now we can actually we can delete these if you want. We can just go ahead and remove those. And we can use these as the poles. Whoops, delete that one too. And we can use these as the poles. So we can just hit R, which is puts it in rotate mode. So R, and to change that, I don't really like how it anchors to that spot. Go up to here, the top, and press the little cross symbol here, and then just press R, and now we can rotate it around the center of that body like that, and we can set it here and move that up, move this body up, and then we can create another one. So Control C, whoops, you do Control C and Control V, and now we have another copy of that body, and we can set it there, and we run it. Whoops, I must have created two by accident. Let me see here. Yeah, and let's run it, and there we go. As you see there, and you see it's kind of rocking back and forth. That's because the body isn't exactly matched how it should be. And if you zoom in more, you can kind of see here it's kind of off a little bit, so we can edit the vertices again and change that here like that, so it can be more balanced. If we zoom in a little more, we can tell that it's even kind of still off, so we can move that some more too, move that some more too, like that, and zoom out a bit, and we can do the same for this one. Yeah, it's like way off like that. All right, and then zoom back out, and let's run it and see what happens. So there we go. It's a little more balanced now, and we don't have that rocking. So that's it for creating levels. It's a little more complex if you want to create more cooler levels. But that's the basics of how you add images and stuff and everything of that nature, how you scale bodies and all that cool stuff. So that's it for this Rube editor tutorial on creating levels. That's the basics of doing it. If you want to get more information on creating Rube levels or using Rube, then you should check out YouTube. Type in Rube tutorials, and you should see all type of like really cool tutorials that show you how to create different cool stuff. Now, let's jump into the reskinning part. So to reskin the game, oh wait, before I show you that, what you need to do is whenever you create a level like this, you need to save the level inside of the resource directory and the raw folder of the project. So you want to do file, and then you want to do like export scene, and then save raw info, and it's going to be a JSON file, .json file, and you want to just navigate to your project and go to that res folder in the raw, and then just save the level inside of that raw folder like that. So for example, level 1, if you want to overwrite it, you just save it, and then it saves there. So that's how you do that. And if you want to save the individual file of the editor, this level, to edit it later, you can also just do you can do quick export, and it exports the JSON file. And if you load it later on, it'll reload the game. All right. So let's get into the reskinning part. Let me make sure this video is not too long. It's actually getting too long. So I'm gonna have to make another video on reskinning the game. So just check that out. The link should be in the documentation also.